we're speaking to Ryan. Now, he built a property portfolio using creative methods. And then he started listening to this podcast and started watching my videos. And he realised that business is the way to make money and property should be second. Property is a great way to store your wealth, but I don't think a great way to build wealth. Just my opinion. I'm sure some of you will disagree. But that's what's going to come up in the pod today. Now, if your business works internationally, I want to introduce you to a real game changer. And this is a tool that you'll want to use. And there's a £200 bonus on offer too. More on that shortly. Let's do it. And welcome back to the Business Broadcast. Today, we are speaking to Ryan. Tell us about it, JB.
We are indeed speaking to Ryan. Ryan is the CEO of a company called Sustainability Compliance, and they've got some sister companies as well, the Supported House Compliance Company and the Property Development Compliance Company. Trading 2 years, they are doing 15 grand a month on average. Last month, they've done 24 grand. Year to date, they've done 110 grand with 62% GP and 34.5% MP. I mean, this guy knows his numbers. He's ticking one of the boxes for the 8 traits of the greats already. He has got team members, but he's also got some challenges. Biggest challenge being moving from one-off projects to reliable recurring income. We already know retainers and tenders are the route forward, but the challenge is putting the right people and the processes in place those relationships don't depend entirely on Ryan. Second biggest challenge is too long for me to read. Third biggest challenge is also too long for me to read. He's got some challenges though. We'll get to them later on in the podcast. In 1 year's time, he wants to be consistently achieving 50 grand per month in revenue for the existing company and to have acquired at least one complementary business, e.g. fire risk, asbestos, Legionella, acoustic consultancy with an annual revenue of at least 50k on top. What does a business look like when it's finished? We always ask our entrepreneurs that. And Ryan said, we will be a group of companies turning over 5 million quid consisting of a fire safety company, a water treatment company, and our existing compliance services will be known for being the specialist in supported housing and new build property development compliance. The business will operate without me in the day-to-day. This gives me the option to look at an exit. And then he's got a bunch of questions that he would like to ask to you as well, James Sinclair. But before all that exciting good stuff, we've got this. Interesting quote or fact of the week. Interesting quote or fact of the week. That's why one of our listeners in a previous episode said, you know what, your jingle says one thing, but you never pronounce it that way because it's actually much more difficult to say. What have you got? You got a fact or a quote?
I've got a little collection of quotes.
Okay.
When I give quotes, I like to give a couple,
Okay, fine. Would you, you can go ahead with those.
Have I said this before? What are you doing, fact or quote?
I'm going to go fact.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you go first.
Okay.
Facts, I like them.
I just thought this was
be good. Please don't let us down. Please don't
very,
let us down.
very good. Okay, right. 99.9% of all UK businesses are SMEs, small, medium enterprises. Together, they employ 16.7 million people, which is 61% of the entire UK workforce. I just thought that's a good reminder that SMEs are the backbone of this country.
Yeah, they're 50% of our economy.
Yeah, isn't that mad? 99.9% of those businesses are SMEs.
And the government need to remember that because at the moment, 50% of the UK GDP is government, about 48%. It's just slightly more in the private sector, but that is going to tip if we're not careful.
After your foray into political ways, what's going on next? You telling them some home truths? What's going on?
Hopefully I'm in a position to bang the drum for us lot. That's, for us business owners out there that have an alarm when it goes off, they get up early and they're going out there fighting for their family. And I hope that I can make those in power see sense that, don't forget us because we're the people that can solve all your problems. A booming economy solves the problems.
And what you still making inroads in that direction?
When they call, I shall be there.
And what about knocking on the door proactively? Going, oi, you lot.
Oh, look, I need to just keep on building my business, keeping making content. Chad and I are talking. Where do we get to with arranging meeting with those certain individuals to interview them? Have they gone cold on us?
Yeah, we're talking to them, yeah.
Oh, yeah, fine. So we can say, so we're going to interview Kemi Badenoch on a fireside chat at what? And the question will start off, what are you going to do should you ever have the chance to be in power to help SMEs and entrepreneurs? How are you going to grow our economy? And also,
what a start to the content.
And the same question, the opening question, will also go to Mel Stride, who is the Shadow Chancellor of the Exchequer at the moment. Yeah, I watched him perform in the House of Commons. I think it's quite good. So I'm going to ask those people, and then hopefully that will lead the doors to interview other good people, because we are going to put some of that on the pod, some of them one-to-one interviews that I do, like we've done with Richard Harpin. We've done the one, if you haven't checked it out,
Amaze Guy.
The Amaze Guy. Fascinating. Did you like him, didn't you, Chad? Think he was a good guy?
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. There he's a
Chad's everybody.
I don't think you need to come to me for that opinion, though, do you? If it's just going to be, yes, I agree, James. We've had this discussion before.
It wasn't me. It's him. It's him giving you.
Chad's everybody.
It's him doing the claps. I'll tell you who else I'd love to interview.
I laugh so much I snotted.
Who I would love to interview, just for my own personal pleasure, is Dapper Laughs, who...
Would you?
Dodge has interviewed him.
Yeah.
He is off the ball, that guy.
Yeah, he definitely
He
is.
knows how to... but I think he's actually quite good entrepreneur business owner, because he just manages to...
Do you know who I'd like to hear you interview?
Yeah.
Chuds. The entrepreneurial side of Chuds.
We'll do that.
He's got books. He's got straps. He's got German manufacturers pressing logos into things for him.
Yeah.
He don't want to talk about none of it. I mean, it would make great content.
Well, it's photography-based stuff, isn't it? It's not business-based stuff.
Is it not turning a quid?
Yeah, it is. But
Therefore, it's a business. This is why. This is why I want to see it happen.
What was the other thing we were talking about?
I don't know. Facts.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll say what you're doing about knocking out the political doors and, fighting for us little people.
Well, I wanted it, and then Mel Stride, and then hopefully that will open the door to others. Chuds is speaking to Charlie Mullins. Now, we got a bit of slack. What was it? Flack. We got a bit of
slack.
When we interviewed him 6-7 years ago.
Flack for what?
Well, some people don't like him, do they?
Well, we don't have to like him.
Because he's very opinionated on his HR and Brexit and political stuff.
This is what pisses me off with people, though. You've gone there to have a conversation with the guy about running a very successful business. Whether you like the fellow or not, he runs a successful business. We need to be able to separate.
And exited for 140 million.
Exactly. We need to be able to separate. I don't have to like you to be able to take some value from you.
Yes, exactly.
If I go into that,
him. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he is for some and he's not for others.
Yeah.
Same with everyone in the public eye, quite frankly.
So we're going to go and revisit, because he's gone again. He started We Fix London, which I think is a very good name.
It's a great name, isn't it?
Much better than Pimlico Plumbers.
Yeah.
Because, just We Fix London. That is such a good name. Whoever come up with that, brilliant.
Nice little way for him to get into the political sphere, which I could see for someone like him down the line as well.
Yeah.
What validates you to be, well, We Fix London?
I don't think he can... some effective people can't bring people with them. And he's too opinionated, because you've got to make friends and influence people in politics that might not necessarily align with you. In business, this is my company.
Bulldozer it.
That is the way it's going to be. But, you might have to get on with people and get things over the line that you might not necessarily get on with.
Yeah,
and
true.
I think he will struggle with that. Right. Okay. So here's my
collection of quotes.
I've said this one, I think, on a previous one, but pressure is a privilege. We've said that before, haven't we? I like that one. Yeah, no.
Can't have it.
I'm not one of the lucky ones. I'm one of the consistent ones. Do you like that, Chuds?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, I'm not one of the lucky ones. I'm one of the consistent ones. And this is a little Winston Churchill one. I've heard of him.
I have. In passing.
You heard of him, Chuds?
No, who's that?
Chaz, everybody.
Success is walking from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm.
Oh, he's so good, was he? He was great for a soundbite. Could you do it with the jingle in the style of Winston Churchill?
Success is walking from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. Is that how he sounded?
Why is he an Irish farmer?
I can't remember how he sounded. Sounded?
No, it wasn't far off.
Yeah.
You're thinking about it now, aren't you? You want to do a better impression.
I've got some of these.
He was a very smart guy, wasn't he? Isn't it mad? Is it not mad? We're talking about politics there. We talked about politics on the show. Here's a guy who got us through a world war, then lost the next election, then got re-elected in his late 70s. How mad is that?
Yeah.
That's why I think you could definitely be the president of the country, James Sinclair. If he can do it, you can.
Did we say this one? Don't promise the world and deliver an atlas. Have we said that on the pod? I love that. Someone sent me that in. Glyn Tapp, you sent that in. Thank you.
That is very good.
Don't promise the world and deliver an atlas. Thank you to Glyn Tapp.
That is very good.
Whether you're paying a team, managing contractors or working with overseas suppliers, the last thing you need is clunky payment systems slowing you down. Now, Revolut Business makes it easy to streamline payments across the board. You can batch pay multiple freelancers at once, automate invoice creation, and even send payment reminders without lifting a finger. And here's something new. If you've got suppliers in China, Revolut Business now lets UK customers pay directly in Chinese yen. This means smoother payments and fewer currency headaches. My own team deals with suppliers in all kinds of places. And if that's you too, you'll appreciate how useful that is. The best part, it all works from one simple dashboard. So you're not jumping between systems trying to keep up. If you're ready to simplify the way you pay your people, sign up to Revolut Business at revolut.com/RB/James. Do that before September the 30th, 2025. Put some money in your account and you'll receive a £200 welcome bonus. Fees and terms and conditions apply. Big thanks to Revolut Business for supporting the show. Now let's get back to it.
Right, interesting factor quote done. Chit-chatty bit done. Shall we guess it up? Let's do it. Ryan, hey, how are you, mate? Oh, he's muted himself. Is he going to unmute? The pressure is on. Here he is.
Mute. Hi, guys.
Hi, Ryan. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
We are very well, thank you. I speak for the collective noun of me and James. We are like one mind when we come together to do this podcast. Right, tell us about Sustainabuild, Compliance and all the other associated sister companies. Give us the origin story in 60 seconds or less, my man.
Sure. So about 6 years ago, I was in full-time employment for one of the UK's largest e-commerce companies. The Boohoo Group. So they have... Boohoo, Pretty Little Thing, Karen Millen Coast, Oasis Warehouse, and Debenhams now, I think. I
always jump when I go on Boohoo's website. That's just a rubbish joke, isn't it? Sorry.
I kind of fell out of love with the job during COVID. I always had this itch that I wanted to scratch with property investment. So I kind of just quit my job on a whim. I had no kind of cash flow, no portfolio behind me, just decided it was something I was passionate about. Did that for probably 4 or 5 years after that, and kind of some of the stuff that you've said in the past, James, really resonated with me about how difficult it is to actually run a business like that. So kind of when I stumbled upon your content last year, I set myself a mission to create a boring business that was complementary to property, where I was utilising my existing network. So I didn't have to go out and find a new network. I could just call people and say, yeah, I do this now. If you'd like this doing, come to me. So that's where compliance, I kind of looked at my own challenges as well. And the compliance sector is quite cloak and dagger. And there's a lot of kind of old boys below the VAT threshold. It's not very service led. It's not very consultant led. It's more computer says yes or no. Give me all of your information and I'll input it. So we wanted to create something a little bit different. So we specialise in supported housing compliance because there's reports that are mandatory every year, such as fire risk assessment, Legionella risk assessment, asbestos management, PAT testing, and then new build compliance. So whenever you create a new property, you have to have a set of reports that are required for building control sign-off. So we also specialise in that.
So is there a property portfolio still? Are you doing all that?
Yeah, which is kind of some of my challenges, to be honest, in terms of time. So I have got a small portfolio. It's less than 10 units. I think we're on seven buy-to-lets at the moment. And then we're
just vanilla, rent them out, no sexy stuff going on. Just that's all you do.
Yeah, well, the only kind of sexy stuff really is it's mostly supported living stuff. There's probably 3 vanilla buy-to-lets and then the other supported living social housing, like leasing on long-term lets to housing associations.
Just for listeners, just explain what supported living is and why is it different to a vanilla buy-to-let?
So supported living is, instead of renting your property on an AST to a kind of family or an individual tenant, I lease it to a company or an organisation. So some people say like the council. Yes, like the council, they ultimately have the contracts with the council, but from my experience, all the bad things that I've heard in this sector has come from leasing properties directly to the council. So I lease them to private organisations like housing associations on 3, 5, 7-year leases. They're responsible for the tenants. I have no management responsibilities. I have no maintenance responsibilities, way and above kind of the external roof, damp, like the big ticket items really. So there's much less stress involved in my opinion.
So if I was renting, so I buy a 3-bedroom semi-detached in Leicestershire, well, I'm just making that, I don't know why Leicestershire, and I was renting that out for £1,200 a month. If it was a supported living, how much do you get? Same but no stress or more?
Slightly less usually, but no stress. But it's down to negotiation. I'd probably say typically between 70 and 100% of market value, depending on the type of company. Like if you're low-level social housing, for example, like asylum seeker accommodation, I think JB's had experience in that in a previous life as well with like your Serco style stuff. Your rents are a lot lower, but again, you still don't have the stress and you don't have the...
So just for listeners as well, because I haven't looked at it because it's just something that doesn't interest me anymore. But if you go and buy, what's the average value of each property that you buy? Do you have a sort of rule?
Yeah, between 80 and 120 we purchase. We typically then convert it to HMOs, spend probably between another 40 and 70 grand doing that, all in Greater Manchester and Lancashire, quite low value areas.
So you're into 170 grand per property roughly, yeah?
Yeah.
And what's the finance cost you each month on that as a rule?
So yeah, the rent, the mortgages are quite high because of the tenant type. So I've just refinanced one at 7.5% with Together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's but again, I modeled it out, and even though I'm paying a higher I'm paying a higher mortgage, I have less stress, and if I net out the same for less stress, then I'll take that.
So what does each property make you each month?
So it varies. So I've got like a 3-bedroom HMO, for example, that I rent for $1,250 a month. I've then got a 7-bedroom HMO that rents for $3,500-4,000 a month, something like that.
But what I'm saying is, after all your mortgage costs and bills, what do you make, like £300 to £500 per property?
Probably a bit more than that. Yeah, I'm probably 5, 6.
Okay.
And even with their HMOs, are you just subbing out the whole property? So you're not dealing with the rooms, are you? You're giving that to companies.
Exactly. I've had a property leased out for 3 years, for example. I've never met any tenant. I've never had any problems. I just get my rent every month, which... Yeah,
I just say, if I'm looking at, if you've got 7 properties and they're all making you £500, that's 3,500 a month of positive cash flow. Then you've got your tax off of that, haven't you?
Yeah. So I'll do kind of 1 or 2 flips a year in this space. So there's another, I don't want to kind of go into the detail of it because I know I've only got you for a short period of time, but I do a flip model with supported living as well. So I will do that exact model, but then sell the property as a going concern to someone on a compressed yield, typically someone that's overseas. So you can kind of have a bit more of a liquid day. So we probably do 1 or 2 of those a year in addition to that portfolio.
Got it. Okay, right. Let's crack on. I think listeners will be interested in that.
Yeah, definitely. So the so all the compliance stuff came as a downstream result of you needing this for your own portfolio and wanting to be able to have like that monthly residual income rather than just the sort of the rental income.
Yeah, exactly. So Sustainabuild was set up primarily on the back of the supported housing stuff, because every year it's mandatory. Going back to the whole James like, want and need thing. If I was going to do this, I wanted to do something that was a need to have, not a like to have. So with supported housing, it's mandatory every year to have a fire risk assessment, Legionella risk assessment, PAT test, emergency light servicing, fire alarm servicing, etc. So I wanted to do something that was a need to have as a business. And the reason we split it out into supported housing compliance and property development compliance is our avatars were very different. So supported housing compliance is a care home. It's a housing provider. Property development compliance is an architect or a property developer. One's more regional, the other's more national. So we kind of wanted to split it out just to avoid a bit of confusion whenever I was speaking to people as well.
Gotcha. All right, let's go through your challenges and we'll see if we can help with those. So our biggest challenge is moving from one-off projects to reliable recurring income. We already know retainers and tenders are the route forward, but the challenge is putting the right people and processes in place so their relationships don't depend entirely on me. Give us a bit more context of that, Ryan.
Yeah, so most of our stuff at the moment is basically I'm sales in the business. I phone someone in my existing network and say, we do this, can we do it for you? Yes. We get that job. Our average order value is about $550. So we get that, and then we have to wait for them to either come back to us or we wait for the annual renewal. So our clients come back to us an average of 2.4 times a year so far. The business has only been going 8 months, but that's the data we have so far. And I want to the next step for me in the business is I don't want to be the person that's on the phone all the time, because when I'm off, I see a difference. For example, the first 2 weeks of this month, I was on paternity leave, and I've noticed a considerable difference in the revenue of the business. I mean, we're probably about 50% down from last month, and I see a difference every time I'm off. So yeah, we need to build retainers and tenders in there, but I haven't got the time to build the ops around it. So yeah, I need to put the right people and processes in place, I guess.
So why does it dip? Because you're driving the sales and cash flow.
Yeah, I am the only sales rep in the business. I phone people in my network, even if it's just to have a polite catch up, and then obviously in a week's time.
And how many years has the business been going doing this stuff?
8 months.
Oh mate, you'll go nowhere in that role for a while.
No, I don't anticipate I am, and that's not the intention.
Just get a PA just future to do all the day-to-day stuff, and then you can just go out there and use your network, speak at conferences, go to property. You need to be. I mean, you probably heard me say this every time on the podcast, but the entrepreneur is the sales person. You are the chief sales operator. You make the sales happen.
Yeah. So in the business at the moment, we've got one office scheduler, and we're currently recruiting for a more PA-based role. I guess, and I totally agree with you, James. I guess my issue is that you used a term the other week that I really liked. I'm a hunter at the minute, and I need to farm, and I want to be in sales farming, not hunting all the time. And I know I need to build that personal brand on the back of it.
Yeah, but farming takes a while, doesn't it? You plant the seeds and you come back in 3 years, 2 years. Yeah. That's what content does, but you don't get it instantly.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So
the intention.
You have to farm and hunt.
Definitely. The intention isn't to kind of put someone in the role and then go and sail off into the sunset tomorrow. That wouldn't be the intention. It's just about kind of future-proofing us. Maybe this is a challenge that I have. I try and think too far ahead, maybe. I don't know. But I'm trying to build the business so I'm future-proofing us.
Well, my definition of a great business is a commercially profitable enterprise that works without you in it. And I think you can do that in 10 years. That's my sort of what I've discovered. When businesses get past their 10-year anniversary, they start having lieutenants and captains to look after the day-to-day. And crucially, the scale needs to be there for that to happen. You look at the 3 stages of building business. First of all, you build a profitable job. That's what this is at the moment. If you're not there, the job doesn't make money. The next stage is build a profitable business. And then the last stage is build a profitable enterprise that's an investment where it's hands off and you can sell the thing and it runs as something that someone else can run. Yeah.
And I think that's where I'm also looking to acquire as well to kind of expedite that process. I guess that would help as well.
Yeah. But acquire what though?
So within the supported housing compliance company at the moment, for example, the 3 main reports that we do are fire risk assessment, asbestos management, and Legionella. So the idea would be to buy a fire risk company, an asbestos company, and a water risk company.
Smart. Yeah, I agree.
We're kind of at,
but
and this is
them
where
as big as possible, and then you put your, that just makes money because they've been around a long time. Then you put all your sales nous on it, and my God, it'd be like fireworks. Because that's what, by hook or by crook, there's lots of these established businesses that just make money because they've been around for decades and they are known in the industry. And if you put some of that entrepreneurial flair onto those, that is a winner chicken dinner moment.
Yeah, and I've met with an asbestos, Legionella, and radon gas company randomly recently, and we've probably had 3 conversations with them. And when I'm kind of reviewing. I want to see their existing clients so we can kind of do those cross sells. Have they got any care homes and supported housing companies?
But focus more on who their team is. This is my big win, my big gift that I part to you listeners and watchers. When you're looking at buying companies, that our tendency is to look at the numbers, to look at the opportunity. What I keep telling people is look at the people, look at the talent within the company, because that is the most valuable asset. Because if you get 10 really talented people that know what they're doing, then you can leverage that in your existing business, not just with the one that you're acquiring. Oh, that is, honestly, it's orgasms all round.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is, I've always thought I've been okay from a kind of mental resilience perspective. I don't know if I've got a limitation on, I know your rule is £1 million revenue plus, but I kind of sit there and think, would a bank loan me money after 8 months of doing this for £1 million revenue company? So I don't know if there's anybody that you could intro to me to that I could have a conversation with.
I don't understand that. Just give me the question like completely plainly.
How, again, it might be a limiting belief, but your rule is £1 million revenue plus for a company that you're purchasing. Yeah. I sit here right now and question whether someone would loan me the money to do that.
Well, don't think about it. I always tell people, don't worry about getting the money, find the deals and the business. Because if you find a business that they would sell to you and say, look, we're doing 10 million of revenue and 2 million of profit and we will sell it to you for 4 million, there'll be someone that will lend you the money to do that deal.
Okay.
They're really, there's, how did you acquire those 7 properties? Did you have deposits for all of them, or did you find creative ways of getting them over the line?
Yeah, most of them are private investor funded.
Well, there you go. So take a leaf out of your own book. Just ask yourself, how did I do this? I've got private invest. The buying. Look, there's something I want to say to you as well. Your portfolio says it worth 1.2 million gross without mortgages.
Probably a bit less, probably about 1 million, I'd probably say.
So you've got a property portfolio that's worth £1 million and it generates £40,000 worth of cash flow, yeah? Roughly a year, maybe a bit more, 40, 50 after, then you've got your taxes to pay. So what do you net out of it? 35 grand a year after tax?
Yeah, I think it's about 37, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so you're making 37k a year after tax. So the way I think is, well, I'll go and buy a warehouse, a commercial portfolio for £1 million and I'll make 100 grand a year of positive cash flow. Just because, but then I think I'll go and buy £1 million turnover business that might make £250,000 a year profit. And that is why I always say to people, business first, property second. Property should be a place to park wealth, to look after it like a high interest savings account, not to be the primary objective. Because if you have the way that you've known how to get private finance together, you've built that from nothing, you've found a way of doing it. If you put that into buying companies, I think you'll find that you'll be making a lot more money.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. You've converted me when I kind of stumbled upon your content a while back.
But can I just also say,
there is legacy.
Ryan, I just want you to also say, and this is coming from a guy that absolutely loves bricks and mortar as well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Most of that portfolio is legacy, I guess, from kind of last year. I've not added anything to the portfolio in kind of the last 12, 16 months, I don't think.
And then the real thing is if you can find a fire service business that owns a big warehouse and you can rent part of it off and trade from some of it, the owning trading businesses with commercial property around them, I think is the biggest wealth hack that I've come across. I'm sitting here today, JB, and Ryan, I've got millions of pounds worth of commercial property now, all on the back of trading businesses. It's bloody fantastic. And if you go through a tough time, you've got all those assets around you, and it's way more tax efficient as well than owning investment properties.
Mm.
Yep, understood.
Good that you're converting people. Like you've literally converted.
Because people can't. There was some bloke that made a video about me. Actually, he dissected one of my videos. Remember that, Chuds? Slagging me off about saying, because I said, look, residential property. I don't know what. I bought a house, and that was next to one of my industrial estates.
Oh, remember that?
Yeah. I bought this house, Ryan, 750,000, and we started the video. I've just bought this house, and what an idiot I am. Because if you're buying it from a residential property investment point of view, it absolutely don't make sense.
Yeah.
Not one iota. We bought it for land control. Basically, the person that lived there hated me because we had an industrial estate. Why he bought a house next to the industrial estate, I don't know. And we bought it and we're going to convert it into a day nursery. We've thought of other ideas, Airbnb, supported living. We've looked at all these things, but at the end of the day, we own 11 day nurseries, and opening day nursery number 12 in a property that's a little manor house seems for us to make complete and utter sense. But he dissected it and sort of, you can make money from residential property. And I'm like, you can make money, but really what you've got weighed out there is £1 million worth of pound notes to make 35 grand. If it was me, I'd put £1 million, even if I opened a cafe deli hub from scratch, or I opened a £1 million day nursery from scratch, I'd be making a lot more money than 35 grand a year.
No, I think it's a good lesson. I've not seen that video of him dissecting.
Yeah, he properly slagged me off.
Did he?
It's one of them things, though. It's just content for content's sake, isn't it? If you disagree with someone and you can make some valid points about it, it's just like back and forth, isn't it? It's just the YouTube game.
Yeah, I've not seen that.
He traded my name. That's what he did to get subscribers. Like, that's really what his plan was, Slag off James Sinclair is wrong. He didn't even get that many views, but all the comments, I loved it. This is where we've got such everyone just sticking up for, for us and saying.
I might start doing that if that's a content hack. I might go at lunchtime. I might just do an Instagram story and slag you off while I'm sat having lunch with you. Right, biggest challenge number 2. We've split the business into 2 silos: landlord care and provider compliance, and developer compliance. But right now, they're still being managed by the same person and processes, but from multiple inboxes, which causes operational headaches, client confusion, and inefficiencies. The challenge is deciding whether these should be run as 2 separate businesses operationally, and finding the right person to own and drive that separation so both sides can run smoothly without me. Give us a bit more context on that one, Ryan.
Yeah, again, I don't want this to be like, I haven't got time to run my business sort of thing. That's not what I'm saying. But obviously, I want to spend as much time on sales as possible. And do I need to put somebody in place that's essentially just a little bit more of a senior ops manager role, and that kind of oversees the ops side of the business, which allows me the time to go out and do the sales?
Yeah, but you ain't got enough money coming in to do that yet. You just need to get a PA that is the / office manager, ops manager, because I think what a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners do is they go out there and think, I need an MD, or and they bring in someone that's, that's not going to do the grassroots stuff that you need. And that's what I like about a good PA. One of the first hires entrepreneurs should have is a PA. Secretary that goes, can you just go and get my lunch? Can you go and do that so that I can do an extra hour of on the phones? Can you just go and get that bill paid? Can you do all that mundane stuff? Because you start rewarding yourself with hours of income generating. Then you employ a bookkeeper. Then you, I think, get a marketing implementer. So you do all the marketing plans, but you get someone that can edit the videos, post the stuff, that sort of stuff. So you're not going to get the high level thinkers in small businesses unless it's, a unicorn moment.
Yeah, understood. So after PA, you think a marketer?
No, a bookkeeper.
A bookkeeper, sorry.
Yeah. So in Ryan's situation, anything that's not him bashing the phones and making the sales is a waste of time. That's the mindset and the mentality you've got to get into. Yeah.
I think why it's good for an entrepreneur that's starting out to employ a bookkeeper is because it starts teaching you about the numbers. They teach you, that's going to the balance sheet, that's going to the P&L. Once you understand that, it makes you very, very powerful. Makes you very powerful. When you sit in front of someone that wants to lend you money, that you need to borrow money from, or to structure a deal, and you understand bookkeeping level of accounts, and lots of entrepreneurs don't. They just don't. That gets very powerful. I think, if there's one thing I think, if there's a bit of academic stuff that entrepreneurs should do, is learn to do accounting. Force yourself to do that early on. Like if my kids want to come work for me in the future, that I will try and get them to do an accountancy course. So I think just what a thing to know. Yeah. Not to the level that a partner, an accountancy firm understands, but where they can, with their eyes closed, go, this goes on the balance sheet, this goes there, that's capital allowances, because you pick it up over the years because you make some errors and you go, or when it comes to tax point of view, you've done it so much that you start learning it. But if you can go in and understand bookkeeper level of accounts without learning it on the job, then that could be something that really helps you get ahead.
Reading the numbers, isn't it? That ability to actually read the numbers and understand what they mean.
And you can talk about it in the proprietary language that a bank manager and an accountant and an experienced person understands. Subconsciously, they want to give money to you because you understand the language. Because there is certain, they understand, you can say, oh, that's a capital allowance, we'll capitalise that, I'll put that over there, we'll accrue that. If you can understand all of that stuff very early on, rather than through trial and error, I think that's a very good skill set to have.
Good advice. Right, third biggest challenge that Ryan has got. Most of our growth still comes from my network, me and my network and partnerships. I've invested in recording equipment to produce content, but the challenge is building a system and accountability around it so personal brand becomes a consistent growth driver and not just something that relies on me having time. Give us a bit more on that one then, Ryan.
Yeah, so I guess a direct question for James. Who keeps you accountable for your personal brand?
That is a very good question. I think I might bring in Chuds here. So just looking at, did you get the question, Chuds?
No, repeat that.
Put the headphones on so you can hear. Just say that question one more time so Chuds can hear as well.
Who keeps James accountable for his personal brand?
I'm going to answer first. Then I'll bring Chuds in because Chuds also.
Chuds, listen, I'm going to answer, but just make sure you listen.
Well, I want Chuds' point of view because Chuds has got his own personal brand and really as well, no one keeps him accountable other than himself. So that's why I think it's useful. For me, it's actually having employees for the personal brand means that I have to meet payroll for those employees. Therefore, they are there, Chuds, Stevie, Tracy, that we have to make sure we keep doing it. That's one of the things. And number two is I'm a weirdo that if I'm not achieving and I'm not getting it out there, I'll start to feel the guilt. That's my view. What do you think?
What was the question? Who keeps it?
Yeah.
Definitely there's some self-accountability because once you start something by putting it out into the world, you kind of are committed to something, aren't you? And if you don't do it, there's a bit of your ego is going to get bruised. Oh, James, stop doing that. Did he after 10 videos? It's like, I knew he would. So there's some self-accountability in terms of like you want to commit to something. But then definitely the team that you've got employed around you now is like an actual hard fact that needs to, you can't just drop that all of a sudden. That's on you, right? But then I took the question as more of a like, how do you make the decision in what direction to go to? Because everyone's personal brand is very different in terms of each person's taste, right? Like the things you decide to do, James, you will then discuss that with us, right? To see if we think that's the right move or not. So I think you have a bit of a ripple effect on things because you will bring stuff forward and then everyone else around you might go, I don't think you should do that. And that then changes what your personal brand looks like.
It's definitely right. What I'm doing, it's become a thing now. And I think we have to dissect that we can't talk about 2025. We need to talk about 8 years ago when I first started doing it pre-Chuds, what made me want to do it. I think is really important. I've just thought of something as Chuds was going through there. Yet both he and his personal brand and me and my personal brand, I think we quite like making content.
Oh yeah, that should absolutely go. Like the people with big brands starts from them doing something that they really enjoy.
Yeah.
You don't have
I want to speak on stage.
Yeah.
I love doing that. I love being a presenter. And I do think the people that have done very well. I mean, in the entrepreneurship space, we've got Gary Vaynerchuk, obviously loves being on stage, loves being on camera, is a performer of sorts, and I think those that go, I'm going to do this purely from a monetary point of view, not from a craft point of view, never really win the day. And I think that's the same with superstar. You know, look at Beyonce, you know, one of the world's most famous entertainers, singers. She obviously likes doing it. She obviously likes dancing. She obviously likes singing. Taylor Swift obviously likes writing songs. And if you're passionate about it, you persist at it.
Here's this is basically reminds me of a quote from Naval, JB, our favourite.
Oh yeah, we like a bit of
What feels like play to you, find what feels like play to you but looks like work to others. So James being on stage and entertaining is like almost play for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas that'd be real work for some people. Going out,
people's worst nightmare, isn't it? They fear speaking on stage more than death.
Me going out and taking photographs and making YouTube videos about it is literally play. I love doing it, so it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
Whereas some people would be like, "Oh, you have to make a video every week. Oh, that's a lot of work." It's just a switch in perspective.
So in that regard, Ryan, find that personal brand can mean a million things to a million different people. You've got to find the thing that works for you. So you might find that actually you're really good at short form video, like the accountant. What's that guy, Josh, who's the accountant? You've seen him from the Midlands?
I think so, yeah.
He's really, really great at short form content. I'm not saying anything of the long form content, but he smashes the short form stuff and it works really, really well for him. You might be like a Jimbo who can does really well produce 15-minute videos about here's this thing that I'm doing and this is why it works. You might be great conversationalist, so actually doing podcast interviews would be the right thing. So find the thing, not only just because personal brand gets this like blanket banner these days, isn't it? Oh, I've got a personal brand, but personal brand is basically your brand is your reputation, and whether you create that reputation through blogs, vlogs, video, podcast, short form content, find the format that works for you and also then resonates with the audience you're trying to communicate with. I think
the big thing there, just in that final conversation that Chuds and I had, I think it's really important to mention to our listeners and watchers, no one watched us for 3 or 4 years. They really didn't, did they, Chuds?
No, not all.
No, we were. I think it took us 3 years to get 1,000 subscribers or some.
I think it was a year to get 1,000, but it was
embarrassing though, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's not embarrassing. It's part of the journey. That is the journey. Yeah. That is the work that goes behind the scenes.
It is a craft to making long form content. Yeah. Well, one of the things as well that I was speaking to James Martin on the way in, and he had Mark Creaser with him, and Mark Creaser is a spectacular copywriter, can write beautifully. And, you know, like I take the mick out of you, I always like to take the mick out of him for not using that skill. He, to me, is like an 8th grade piano player that doesn't go and play the piano.
Yeah.
And I think writing a newsletter every week is something that lots of people could do. But obviously no one reads or watches it or takes notice for 6 months. And then I'm in many ways, I'm more proud of our newsletter than all the other things that I do, because I know I'm actually getting quite good at it now. And I'm like bigging myself up here. I'm like thinking, I feel, because I've done it so much now, I'm like.
And that's also, interestingly, that's like
quite passionate.
That's the personal accountability, because no one can do, like Chuds can force you to do a video. You put a camera in front of your face and go, it's video day. We come in here every other Tuesday. It's podcast day. Whereas on a Sunday, if you haven't got anything, that's down to you, because you told everyone at 7 o'clock on a Monday morning they're going to get it, apart from on a bank holiday.
Slightly different
swerve.
Slightly different approach. That was a good swerve on it. He was late on Sunday. So
of course he was.
Everyone's back to work on Tuesday. Anyway,
I've done it for you, so you get it first on the working week. I was thinking absolute bollocks.
So the difference here, though, with the newsletter example, just in case some people can think about what content they want to make in their business, is you didn't start with that because that's not what's played to you. You being on stage it was going to happen anyway. Whether there was a camera there or not, you were going to be on stage entertaining people. So that's why we probably started with that type of content.
So I think what I was going to say, though, but the newsletter, I don't dread it. I actually look forward to doing it now.
But you also, I know JB's no one else is accountable for it. Like, I'm not there with a camera in his face, but he is committed publicly that he's writing a letter every week. So he is self-accountable and via our audience accountable that he has to produce a letter every week. Whether you enjoy it or not, you are just going to commit to that.
Are you still doing your morning scribe?
Yeah.
Are you really?
Done it this morning.
I think you should bring them in.
I will.
Oh, you don't do it on your iPhone?
No, I do bits of it on my iPhone as well. There you go. So this is my my affirmation for today on the 26th. There you go. So I've written that down. It's my affirmation. I had a little look at my 2025 goals, see where I'm at. well behind on all of them.
I think you should read out some of your affirmations.
I will do.
Not now.
No, we're not going to do it now.
This guy has not spoken, have you, Ryan, for about 10 minutes.
Right, trying to grow his personal brand and we're just talking over the top of him.
I don't know if we've helped there, Ryan. I mean, it's just a little monologue from all of us, but...
No, it was good. It was interesting to listen to as well. And just to give you a bit more context, I don't mind being in front of the camera. When I mentioned before, when I was doing property and I was trying to plug a cash flow gap, I did some public speaking. I used to go into schools and speak to kids about kind of alternative routes instead of doing the whole A-level uni route, which is what was tried to be pushed on me. And so I enjoyed that. I don't mind being in front of people. I've done a few videos on YouTube for my property stuff, my property Instagram at Ryan Taylor Group. I'm always kind of forward facing on there. So I have no issues with cameras being in my face and working on the long form. I guess my question was more like you have with Chuds there, like you've got someone that's sat there, but not making you do it. I appreciate
but the accountability, because it was what Chuds, that little quote he said, it really was like play to me. Actually, once it started getting more that it started making money and it becomes a thing, that's when in many ways it's harder. Exactly the same. When I was a kids entertainer, magician, entertainer, I was passionate about making people laugh and entertaining. Once I started getting paid for it, I did lose a little bit of the love for it. It's weird. Yeah, so there we go. Right. Okay, what's next?
Right, let's go on to the questions. We've covered all the challenges off. Right, question number one. Questions. If you were going to, in my position, wanted to double down on aggressively scaling a compliance business, which key hires would you prioritize first, and at what stage do you think it's right for me to bring in a fee earner versus a strong operator admin to free me up in the business? I think we've touched on that a little bit, haven't we?
We've done that.
Challenge number two. My sector has low barriers to entry and we often start each month from zero. If you were me, how would you structure the business to improve the model to secure recurring income, make the business harder to copy and ultimately increase an exit value?
Well, the exit value is all about building a commercially profitable enterprise, good numbers and an effective management team. But the numbers, the money goes to commercially profitable enterprises that works without you in it. So it's completely hands-off investment. Who's the MD, who's the FD, what's the contracts in place, so that it's not a profitable job. It's not a profitable business. It is an investment. And once you've achieved that, people will come to you and start saying, can I buy you?
Yeah, when I've spoken to people about kind of this challenge recently, everyone's always kind of pushed the admin and operator role first, which I do agree with. But then obviously I do want to be able to step aside from the sales part and work on the, not completely, but work on the strategy, go and meet business owners, talk about how we can acquire or do the finance raising, that type of stuff. But when is the right time to bring in that additional fee earner, like a business development manager or someone like that?
Well, I think that's going to be difficult. Well, you're only 8 months in, aren't you?
Yeah.
And I think you'll bring them in and you'll be frustrated they're not as good as you. Unless they are talent scouted and they are absolutely slam dunk excellent. So like when Jeff Bezos started Amazon, he knew the first 12 people to employ because he'd worked with them in other roles, in other companies. So he knew that they were tried, tested and absolutely proven. And I think what lots of entrepreneurs do is they start and go, right, I've got a fee earner. They're going to start making £100,000 a month this month. It's all going to be great. And they don't, because they don't train them. They don't give them the 180 days, or they're not paid enough, or a mirage of problems. But lots of entrepreneurs tried, tested and proven people in place because of previous businesses they've had or previous places they've worked. So they slot them in because they know it's a sure thing. So you might have to train someone from the off, like an apprentice style role to get them going.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And yeah, we've just brought in a part-time kind of head of ops, only working 2 days a week. Similar story to that. I used to work with them at Boohoo and they're amazing operators and I can just kind of leave them to it.
Exactly. That's because there's no working it out. What what's we've spoke about this on the podcast before, has done, can do, will do. Have they done it before? can they still do it, and do they have the will to carry on? And if you can answer those three things where you're absolutely sure of those things, then hire them. If you're not, I would keep on being the income generator.
Yeah, sure.
So I think about my first hire, Aaron, who is, our ops director, managing director, he worked at David Lloyd's. I was hired in to do all the entertaining there, to run their entertainment's contract. I watched him and I thought, well, I'm going to employ him because he's done it before. I know he can still do it because he's young, and he was really willing to come and work for me. So he has done, can do, will do. So look at Chuds when he came and work with me to make my content. He edit videos. He's done it many, many times before, thousands of times before. Can he still do it? Yeah. He understands. Will he do it? He had the will. So all my best hires have been has done, can do, will do. But sometimes you get tripped up by people saying, yeah, I've done it before. Can they really do it? Do you know they can still do it? And do they have the will to do it? There's lots of, not so, because some of the oldest people I know that still work for me that we've recruited just been amazing. I think David Wong, 67, as the new FD working for us. He's done it before. Yeah, he can still do it, and his will to do work is unbelievable. But there's lots of people that has done it. They can do it, but they've got no will to carry on. Like, they're tired. They just want a part-time job. So look for that has done, can do, will do thing.
I think also just knowing the space that you're in a little bit and just having a quick scan over your Instagram, I think your biggest business development tool is probably the network that you've already got. And whilst you're sort of on a mission to move away from it being you, 8 months in, you are going to be the revenue driver of the company. I'd be looking at things like, can you find contracts? For example, there'll be so many people out there who've done a progressive course, a PIN course, a Samuel Leeds course, whatever it may be. They're running around doing rent-to-rent HMOs and all this sort of stuff. They don't know any of the compliance they've got, because that's not the cool, sexy, exciting stuff, but they need to do it. So I'd be speaking at PPN, PIN events, progressive events. I'll be doing a regular slot in YPN magazine. I go to things like the White Box events and all that kind of stuff, and find those people who have gone on those training courses. Maybe you could find a way to do a JV with some of those big speaker events, which would then turn into content for you as well. Can you go and speak on stages about the contractual side of these property deals, which most people probably don't know about or don't really care about, but frankly, they've got to. There'll be a bunch of people who are selling courses today aimed at that entire marketplace who are, trying to get everyone to get, you only need $7,000 to do a rent to rent, HMO deal, blah, blah, blah. But they don't know about the compliance, and they're going to get them fingers burnt if they don't know this stuff. And there's so many of those people there, it's not difficult to find them. And then also look at things like with the, if you want more contracts, can you find a HMO, lettings agency? Have they got a contractor in place who's doing all of these regulations and checks for them? I bet there isn't.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely spot on. I'm kind of one of the best sales things that I've done so far is I'm part of 2 property networks, and just being part of there as an investor and developer first and foremost, and not being a hard sell, just being here as an investor, one of you, with that soft sell of this is what we also do. I've actually found that really fruitful. So I totally agree.
I reckon those PIN events, because they've obviously the PIN and progressive and all them lot, they are PPNs, I think they're called. They've got hundreds of events dotted around the country. They're always looking for speakers, and you can go and be the keynote speaker, and then you've got 30, 40, 50 people who are looking at you as the expert authority at the front of the room. Take a local videographer, and that makes your content for the next month as well, because they can take a keynote talk that you give and cut it into clips, short form content and all that kind of good stuff. That would be, and yes, I know you're a new dad because you said you were on paternity leave. Congratulations, by the way. But even if you have to spend 2 or 3 nights a week in the short term going out and doing that as your business development tool, I reckon you'll get loads of opportunity there, because rather than then having to hit the phone on a one-to-one basis, when you're giving those talks, you're talking on a 1 to 30 person basis, which is just the laws of the numbers will start working in your favor.
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree. And thank you very much.
YPM magazine, there's still a lot of people that read that as well. That would be definitely worth you having a look at, because they'll do regular contributor slots. I know a couple of people at YPN. And I've also been speaking to Sam, who's the founder of Blue Bricks. I think originally you had Blue Bricks on your pod before Sam took over, James. But yeah, I've been speaking to him recently about being. I think he used to own it, didn't he?
Nathan Winch used
to own Blue Bricks, yeah.
Yeah, it's now a guy called Sam Cook. So I've been speaking to him about being in the next brochure. So yeah, hopefully that comes out. So yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying, James.
Awesome. Well, your other questions, I think we've already covered it over because we've talked about recorded studio, personal brand content, strong operator, etc. Any other final questions or queries you've got, Ryan, before we let you on your merry way?
No, I don't think so. Just thank you both so much for all the content you put out there. It does really help.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you.
Pleasure. And where, if someone has got a HMO and they're not sure if they are compliant or not, where can they go and find out more information about you guys?
Best place to find us is either on our website, www.sustainabuildcompliance.co.uk, or search Sustainabuild Compliance on LinkedIn, or just Ryan Taylor on LinkedIn.
Perfect. Good stuff. Ryan, thank you for being on the podcast today, my man.
Thank you so much.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. There you go. Ryan, all the way from right up north. Thanks, Chud. Right, it's time for this. It's time for the 8 Traits of the Greats. It's the point of the show where James Sinclair casts his merry little eye across his 8 traits board, and he verifies, he identifies, he signifies, he confirmifies whether or not the
This guy's got it, hasn't he?
He has got it.
He's got the
He's
whatever
got
it
loads
is.
of it, hasn't he? Got loads of it.
Starting with the end in mind. No, okay. Passionate about their cause.
Oh yeah, he loves a bit of property.
Untold amounts of resilience. Don't know if he's been
Didn't find
tested.
out, did we?
Mass relationships, people. I think we give him that. Commercial awareness.
Yeah, seemed to know his numbers, didn't he? Came in knowing his numbers.
They innovate so they don't evaporate. I think he's an innovator.
Yeah, he's doing that.
Master marketeer.
No.
Stay teachable and curious. That's a good score, baby. That's a 5.
That's a 5.
It's time for the song, sung by JB. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are getting married, if you've got a 40th birthday coming up and you want a singer that can swing it, this is JB.
Oi, the singer at your birthday party did not like me getting involved, did he? He weren't having it. It's time for the great song. It's a 5. This business is gonna thrive. He's got a 5, 5, 5, 5. He got a 5. That'll do.
There you go. I like how because you're obviously musically trained, because you do make it fit the song. You just come up with it. It's a beautiful thing.
It's a very useful skill that doesn't work anywhere else apart from here. Right now, it's time for the business quiz. Thanks, Chuds.
It's Jim versus JB on the quiz that's businessy. Business knowledge and it's fun. Which one's clever and which one's dumb? Izzy Wizzy, let's get quizzing.
That's my favourite jingle that we have on this show. I just think it's great.
And
Can
you
you
made
wink
it.
with both eyes?
Yeah.
Go on. I didn't know that.
I always
do it
do
down
it.
that camera.
At the end, I always do the last ding, ding.
Do you? I can't do it with one eye.
Hey, do you know what I found out? My daughter, who's 4.
Here he goes.
My
Go
daughter, who is 4.
Yep.
She can't even say please in Spanish.
You're joking?
No, that's poor for 4, isn't it?
You're an idiot.
Have I told you that before?
Yes, you phoned me yesterday and told me it.
Oh, you said I've got to say it on the pod, didn't you?
Yeah,
That's why
you did.
It's somewhere in my mainframe.
In your mainframe. Right, here is today's critical question.
Have you seen the
Inside
price of balloons recently?
No.
They've gone up 3 times. That's inflation for you.
In this envelope, it's a critical question related to the subject or the sector that we have just discussed. And today's critical question is this. On average, how much do UK businesses spend annually on sustainability compliance? Have I read that correctly? Because I was trying to read it through the paper. Yes. On average, how much do UK businesses spend annually on sustainability compliance, reporting, audits and certification?
Billions. I'm just going to say it's $1 billion plus industry.
On average. Oh, on average, though.
Oh, right.
So this is a per business thing. Some are going to spend nothing. Some are going to spend loads. I reckon it's going to be
1,500 quid a business. Do you reckon?
I don't know.
I'm going 1,500
Oh, do you know what?
per business.
I might as well just double it. I'm going to go $3,000 because I reckon some of those big businesses, I reckon they've got compliance coming out of their bums, haven't they?
Oh,
no. I've said 3. No.
Yeah.
Put your answer down. Come on.
1,500 smackaroonies. There you go. I put it
1,500.
on screen here, gang.
3,000.
And the answer is...
Oh, here we go. The answer is bloody hell. £120,000 a year. Larger multinationals can spend up to £1 million plus annually on compliance systems.
Do you know the problem I have with that fact?
Here he goes.
The
For
problem I have with
SME
that
compliance
fact-
is typically a cost of
70% of businesses in this country don't even pay VAT. So how is that possible? That means they don't turn more than 90 grand.
For SMEs, compliance typically costs 1 to 2% of operational cost. The projected value of the sector is set to be $65 billion by 2030. Where's my cut? Oh,
can I say, do you think...
Let me, I've got some problems with this. Can you just a minute.
I need like a record scratch.
Chuds, how big is the UK economy? Can you just pop that in there?
Here he goes.
I think it's about $1 trillion a year, I think, the UK economy.
2.56 trillion.
2 trillion. And we're saying 65 billion. So 3.5% of the UK economy is going to spend on compliance. Maybe.
Sounds about right.
Do you think it's the fact that, if Bill Gates is in a stadium, the average person's a millionaire? Do you think it's a case of that?
That's so good, isn't it?
I don't know if that's really true, but it's probably not completely
That's
false.
the same when James Sinclair walks into this room.
We're all millionaires.
You just bought a gaff, so you got no dough. I got no dough.
When
We're all sitting there, we're all trillionaires.
Right.
When I walk into a football stadium, the average person becomes a sex god.
Do you see what I'm saying about the compliance thing, though?
Pardon? Yeah.
So if a company's paying,
some-
there will be a company out there that just spent 10 million on compliance.
PwC will be doing like $1 billion a year, and
Right.
the rest of us are doing
Yeah.
zero,
you
which
go.
averages out. I think you're right, Chuds. But let's not let that take away from the fact that I'm the champion. So, sorry, love, are we keeping you
You
up?
could be the champion of it. I think it's a rubbish question.
Go on, finish your own podcast.
Ladies and gents, thanks
you're a
very
bad
much.
loser, you are, James Sinclair.
Can I just say, if you're loving the podcast, we love reading your comments. Hit them in the comments below. And JB needs some more shirts and some more outfits. So if anyone can send him some stuff,
like?
I think
As
he
soon
looks
as you
like
said it, I
a
was like-
member of Chariots of Fire. Hopefully we can just put a picture of that on screen in the edit. If you can remember the 2012 Olympic opening show when Rowan Atkinson was playing the piano, then he had a daydream back to Chariots of Fire. That's who you look like, Mr. Bean in a t-shirt.
I tell you what, Chariots of Fire, they play that as you start at the marathon. I've never been closer to crying in front of 10,000 people in my
It's a good
life.
song, isn't it?
But they just
Good
get you like hyped up, like, yeah, who's going to do it?
Who's gonna do
Wave
it?
4, you're going off at 10:30, and then they're playing this.
Yeah,
I'm going,
yeah,
I can do it.
yeah,
Went
yeah,
off
yeah.
way too quick because I got hyped on Chariots of Fire.
Yeah.
Anyway, there you go.
There you go. That's it's such an iconic beginning of the song, isn't it? Yeah, it's very good. What do you think's the
get
best
in the
song of all
feels?
time? I've got a new favourite song, but what's your best favourite song of all time?
My favourite song of all time is the one I sang at your birthday, My Way by Frank Sinatra.
I like that.
I also like lesser known Frank Sinatra song, Let Me Try Again.
Let Me Try
My
Again.
God, that is an absolute banger. It's
what
the
I'm saying
epitome
after
of my life, isn't it? It's my theme song.
Favourite Elvis Presley song is definitely Burning Love. Mate, that is such a good song.
Really?
Oh, I love that song.
Wow.
'Cause I think it's quite timeless because it sounds not too old now.
Okay, yeah, fine.
But that song from Sting or The Police, the do-da-dee-da-dee-da-do-da-day, that one. Do you know that one?
Yeah, I know the one you mean. Well, that's your favourite song of all time?
At the moment, yeah. I just love that. So I can listen to it again. Oh, Gypsy Kings is probably my ultimate favourite. I was flipping love them. Right, what was, if you'd like to come to one of my events, all my events are on jamessinclair.net, but I just want to play the
Can't for
well, we can
licensing
get a
reasons.
little bit, can't we,
5
Chuds?
seconds.
5 seconds. Come on. It's at jamessinclair.net. Lovely guy. All loads of events and stuff on there. No, come on. This is a great listening experience.
Chuds are gonna chuck all of this out.
This one.
The best song of all time. I'm not having that.
I like this.
Do. Even Stuart Copeland can't be bothered to remember that one. Is he the one who played?
Listen to the rift. Is that what they call it? The rift?
Yeah, but it's not a good one. It's not their best.
Well, he
not
listens
even
to the
their
show.
best.
What do you think is their
Does
best
he?
song? A Message in a Bottle?
Yeah.
Boring.
No, so why is it boring?
A
Because it's a
do
classic.
day. A day. I like the little sing along. Anyway, there you go. Come along to one of our
Chuds
events.
is furious
jamessinclair.net.
behind the camera, by the way. None of this is even going to make it out, I don't think. If this makes edit, I'll be surprised. Does this make an
go.
edit, Chuds?
He hasn't
He
decided
don't
yet.
know.
Thanks for listening, gang.
Ta-da.
Bye-bye. Thanks for watching today, gang. I hope you enjoyed the show. Now, look, we're looking for some great businesses to come on the podcast. If you've got challenges, but you're desperate to grow your business and you can't necessarily work out how to do it on your own, you'll be a perfect candidate to come here on the podcast. It's absolutely free to come on the show. Go to my website, jamessinclair.net, and there's a podcast button. Click on the podcast button, fill in the application form, and we'll do our very best to get you on the show and try and grow your business.